Welcome back to the Fangirl Fantasy Podcast. I am Julie Russell, and I'm so excited about our guest today. He's been absolutely crushing it via social media, is what I'm seeing. So I can't wait to dive deeper and ask so many questions and find out what's really going on in your life. So please welcome Cole Gentry.
Hello, everyone.
I am so excited. I've missed you so much.
I know. I'm so excited to be here. And as I was taking a shower, I was like, when was the last time that I fucking talked to Julie? Like, I was like, what is going on?
I know. I feel like we just reply to each other's like Instagram stories and then you carry on with your days.
Yeah, that's the state of the world at this moment. Like, my best friends are on Instagram right now. And it's like, because I can't see anyone. That's like, that's
I
how it's
know,
going right now.
seriously. So we met back in 2017. We were both on the
Yes.
social team for Playlist Live.
Yeah.
I feel
Yes,
like
we
that was
were.
like 10 years ago.
I I was thinking about it and I was like, how long ago was that? And like it was such a blur, like that I don't remember everything like specifically, but it was just like the wildest thing.
We worked 17 hours, we slept for 3, and then you just kept going.
We kept going. We, got our little payout for lunch and then we just like and we ate on the go. Like it was fully nonstop, like running around.
And for those of you who don't know what Playlist Live is, it's the biggest social media convention, like basically anywhere. It's in Orlando, Florida. So all of the YouTubers that you love, Instagrammers, they're all there for a convention. And so we ran the social media for the convention. So it's long days, but it was so fun. And I saw that photo of us from one of the after parties. And I'll just like randomly be like looking for something. I'm like, oh, Cole.
I have it in my car. It's still in my car. It's like sitting, it's me, you, Andy, and then the other two people that I don't remember their names.
Me either. That's
But
okay.
because Andy lives here now. And so I've
Yes.
seen him a couple of times as well. But
So since
it was just so wild.
I know it was fun, it was different. It was because you were still in college at the time, right?
Yeah. And that was my first full on social media like experience. Like, not apart from my own and like some other projects like theater wise that I had done. But that was like my first like being at a convention where there were like celebrities, mostly YouTubers that I actually knew. And it was the first time I'd been to a convention of any sort. And so it was like just the wildest 3 days of my life.
I learned a ton too. It was you needed to be on like ready to go to be able to move on the fly, know what you're doing, know what you're talking about. I learned a ton.
I learned so much. And I think that one of the first things that I remember learning is that you have to treat these like celebrities or YouTubers as like people because you're needing content from them. And that's like and that's what all the people want to see. All fans want to see is like the content that hopefully playlist is sharing, but also the creator is sharing as well. And like, I just remember one of the first people that I was just like, holy shit, was Jenna Marbles.
Mm-hmm.
That was the like one of the last people that I got content from, but like one of the first people I was like, hold, like this is wild. But I'm sitting here like, hey, can you do a video for Playlist Live's like was it Instagram story account or Snapchat? I forgot which one I was running.
And we had access to everybody, and that's the thing. It's like we were
Yeah,
allowed to just be like, "Oh, hey, like please do this for us," and it wasn't weird. You were in a position of like power for the
yeah.
first time with these creators. No, I think it was one of besides the radio station working like on that social team. This was one of my first like diving deep into a convention and working with creators and someone of a high profile.
Yeah, and that was like, I mean, that was like before TikTok. I think Musically was still the thing at the moment.
Musically and you now.
Yeah, so like those were like there were content creators on that, but there was a very exclusive, like probably like handful. I couldn't even imagine like the amount of TikTokers that would be at one of those things.
Oh,
But like,
I did it this year.
oh, you did?
It was insane. You couldn't even walk into the lobby, Cole. Like, unbelievable.
You could barely walk.
James Charles walked into the lobby and next after that he had security next to him because he'd be like, "Oh, I just want to like go out there." And they're like, "No, no, there's 10,000 fans out there waiting for you to be mobbed." And he was like handing out makeup. It was insane. This TikTok world has just Another level. Another level.
It's another level. Well, I remember because James Charles, he was at Playlist Live when we were there, and we had to escort him to one of his panels because no one was running the panel. So it was me and one of the other guys
I had
had
to
to
do that
escort.
for Frankie Grande and James and a whole bunch of other makeup
Wait,
guru. Was it
wait,
us?
was I there? I think it was. It may have been us because I remember Frankie also being there.
Yeah, and we walked in and we're like, why is nobody moderating this panel? Why am I the one that's telling everyone to sit down? I'm like, I'm just supposed to be
Yeah,
taking photos.
because I remember at the end when we had to like fight fans away from James Charles because they were like like coming on stage and we're like, no, you cannot, and there was no security.
Yes.
So we were
They
like,
mobbed. I think I have a video of it.
oh my god. Well, also it was just like the weird because James Charles was like on his way up, but he wasn't like as big as he is now. And
100%.
so it was just like one of the weirdest things because I was like, why why am I acting as security when I'm like, I don't, it was so weird. It's so weird to have like young children that you're like bodying against like fans.
Yes.
And I'm like, all of these young people at this point, because they're all so young,
It,
so young.
it makes me feel old, way too
Yeah.
old, especially this year at the TikTok with all the TikTokers.
See, yeah, that is where I would be like, well, should I change my career path at this point?
Probably. So,
I know.
like I said, that was only 3 years ago, and you've done so much since then. So you joined the social team for American Idol, and then now you're currently employed at Teammate Company.
Yes.
So take us through that journey because legit 3 years ago you were still in school and you just, like you said, that was your first experience, and then you have
Yeah.
worked on these incredible with these companies and these teams. So take us through that journey.
Yeah, so I started on American Idol. I think it was about 6 or 7 months after I graduated from college. It's when I made the move from Ohio all the way to Los Angeles. And when I first got here, I was kind of just wanting to do something kind of low key, trying to like steam off of like college because I was just fucking working 24/7. So, and then I ended up the company Fremantle, which owns a lot of the game shows that are run on ABC, that do AGT, American Idol, and a lot of like a ton of other shows. It's mostly a British company, so it's also where they do X Factor, BGT, et cetera, et cetera. And my boyfriend works for America's Got Talent at the time.
Shout out
And
Adam.
so, yeah, shout out. Um, and so he was like, you should just try to apply as like a PA for Idol because they're looking, it's a good step like in the right direction to do what you want to do, which is just like be on social media or be on a show that's like iconic. Going into its like 20th year this year, by the way, which is wild.
Crazy.
So I kind of just applied. I started as a PA. I started as like a story PA. So it's basically you. All of these producers come and just scream like notes at you, and you have to like type it down so that for each contestant, people know like who they are, where they're from, like their story basically. And from there, I kind of was just like looking to kind of go on this digital team, running around similar to playlists, so like running around, grabbing stuff from contestants, grabbing stuff from judges, like just content and baking basically. So yeah, and then I joined their digital team. It was a team of 3 at the time, actually. I was like one of the first 3 to join the social and digital team.
Because they stopped Idol and then you joined for the first new season with new
Yes.
judges and everything.
Yeah, so after they had been canceled or ended on Fox, ABC picked it up and started its first season on ABC with Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and Luke Bryan. And it's currently on season 5 with the same judges on ABC. And so like, yeah, it was kind of like revamping, trying to like make it a more positive show. I remember that just being like burned into my brain for the first 2 years working there. Like, this is now positive. Simon Cowell's not here. Like, this is not happen. Like, it's like supposed to like just reinvent it in kind of way. It's also on ABC, which is like a Disney company. So it's like needing to be positive. But from there, I like started to work with contestants, obviously grabbing content in every shape, way, or form, kind of breaking it down per stages of the show. So you would start at auditions, then go to Hollywood Week, and then you would go to like live shows, etc., and then the winner is announced. But yeah, I worked there for 2 seasons, not 2 years. It was 2 seasons, the first and the second, and then just wanted like a change.
Mm-hmm.
Like TV shows are fun, and they kind of get boring after a second because it is different talent for every season, but it's the same show.
Same content you're getting just from a different contestant or different judge.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's luckily I met the judges like once, I think, while we were on the road. But other than that, I was mostly like managing contestants and kind of like making sure that they were getting what they needed and posting when they needed to, etc. And then I'm just going to tell the story. So one day, my friend Jamie was like, "Hey, so
like, wait, my story, like my favorite story, the one I'm envious of."
Yes, that story.
Okay, this is my dream to ever happen to me. Like, this would be like, if this happened to me, I would die happy. I would never just sitting in a room and Nick Jonas surprises you. That's all I want in life. That's all I want is just to be Nick, to be like, "Hi, Julie," and he did that to you. Hi, Cole.
I know. I'm just like, I get chills every time because it was one of probably the best experiences of my entire life. So I currently still out. So this is like it's been like 2 years now. Oh God,
Crazy.
Something like that. I'm still at Idol, and then my friend Jimmy was like, "Hey, do you want to go to this like Jonas Brothers thing? I think they're like asking fans questions, and then it's like gonna be included in a documentary or whatever." And I was like, "I guess." And they were like, "Bring any like memorabilia that you may or may not have." So like I had like a couple of pieces from like living here. And so I was like, "Sure, I'll bring a couple of things and a couple of CDs." And then we sat there, and it was like the weirdest process because they kept asking and us to sign something, and I was like, "Okay, I get it, but why are we here for so long? Like, I don't get like why like we're sitting here for like 4 hours." It was just like, this is the
get the
wildest
content
thing.
you need and let's move on.
I know. I was like, "Are we not done? Like, why can't we all just like be here and like just leave?" But we were there for like. It started at like noon and we got done at like 8. Like it was such a long process. But anyway, so they interview each of the fans one at a time. And I was like, this is getting like we're like legit at this point. Like I'm sitting in a chair. They're asking me my name. They're like putting me in front of camera and asking like actual serious questions. And I was like, this is like too formal. There's something that's about to happen and I don't know what it is. And then like with the fans, we're like sitting there talking and they're like, "Oh, so I heard that like the Jonas Brothers are gonna be here." And I was like, "I don't think that's true." I was like, I don't believe you, I don't trust you, I don't know, I don't like no.
You're not fooling me.
I know. And we're asking all the security people and they're saying no. And so I'm like, okay, so I think I would know by now if we are. Well, then they ask all of the fans to get together to sit and stand like all together in like a meeting sort of like questionnaire. They keep asking us like our favorite song, our favorite album, our favorite concert if we've been to one, etc. And then they kind of go through like similar to fucking American Idol. Like this is why I thought this was like the perfect moment, and this is why I have shifted my job.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we're like sitting there and they're going to like, like a storyboard. Like I'm the story PA again. They're going to each person and like particularly like this person, this is your life. Like, how does that make you feel? And then we're all there supporting this person.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ask me, they're like, "Oh, so you used to own an account on MySpace, a fan account of Jonas Brothers." They're like, "Yeah, Cloud Jonas." It was like kind of popular for like a little bit. One of the girls was just sitting there going, "Oh my God, you are the owner of Cloud Jonas?" And I was like, yes. And she was like, "I fucking loved that MySpace."
That's
she goes,
amazing.
"You always had some good photo." Like she was like, you can see it in the video, which is on YouTube still, on the Jonas Brothers YouTube. But she's like, "Oh my God." And then like it kind of like settles down and we like take like a break after like an hour of like hard interviewing. And then we come sit back down and the interviewer, she's like, "So what if I told you?" And we're like, yes. And she's like, "What if I told you that the Jonas Brothers are getting back together?" And we were all like, well, that would be dope. One. And we're like, well, but why are you telling us this? And then as soon as she goes, well, it's because they're here right now.
I have the
And
goosebumps.
I have goosebumps because I'm just like I'm just like talking about it again. And here's the best part. We turn around, these like fucking black doors just like open. The Jonas Brothers walk through, and then when you look me in the eyes, it's playing from like a string quartet. I just like da na na na, and I'm just like like I scream. I'm like we're all just like freaking out. Like we're like they're here, they're in front of us. This like quartet is playing, and it's like the most magical moment. It was just so magical. It's like
I just remember when the video came out. I remember when the video came out on YouTube and I saw you in it. I don't think I've texted anyone so like quick. I was, Cole, yeah, I need play by play. What happened? Blah blah blah.
it was it was the wildest experience because that video like literally like came after like 6 months later, or like it was like a pretty good like
You
piece
guys,
of
you guys
time.
signed a hefty NDA, I'm sure.
We did. We were supposed to be in the Happiness Begins like documentary that was on Amazon Prime, but then they ended up just making it like a solo video from itself.
Gotcha.
So like we had signed an NDA for sure, and then we weren't allowed to talk about, because we already knew that there was going to be a documentary before there was like it was actually announced, and a new album. We listened to Sucker for the first time all
Oh, that's
together.
awesome.
We also listened to Burn It Up together. We like dancing with the Jonas Brothers. Sophie and Priyanka were there, by the way. Just throwing
Wow.
that out there. But yeah, and then so there was like a lot of like secrecy around it. Like don't tell, like you cannot tell anyone. Um, and it was just like it was a magical moment from when I left to like the next morning. I just couldn't believe that it fucking happened. Like it was so like a
It's a
transformative
once
like
in a lifetime
experience.
opportunity, and the fact that you get to do it with this band that you've loved for so long,
Yeah,
and it's a comeback. They broke up 7 years, like so long ago. So
it was. Yeah, and it was like I also hadn't thought about them in so long, so it like brought back all of this nostalgia and all of this happiness. Happiness continues. It just
but
it just it just kept bringing up all of these good things. And so I was like, why am I not? Why is this not what I'm doing? I'm a fan. Like I enjoy like artists. I love making other people feel good, especially when it comes to like celebrities and like just brightening people's day with like whatever. And so now I met my current boss, Cynthia Parkhurst, who manages the Jonas Brothers social accounts.
hmm
And so I met her, and she owns a teammate company. And so I was like, one day she posted that they were looking for someone for an account manager, and I was like, I mean, might as well just like throw my hat in, because I was season 2 of Idol was ending, and I was like, I'm kind of looking for something else, and I don't really know what I want to do yet. And then I was like, I'll just apply just to do it. And then like I think it was like 2 weeks after I'd applied, and like I was like going back and forth to Idol and going back and forth with them, trying to figure out what I wanted to do,
hmm
and then just ended up making the decision to join Cynthia at Teammate.
So what is you're an account manager?
I am an account manager for Teammate. I do a lot more than that, but that's like the main it. Yeah.
And who is your main client? Because I know, but let the world know.
I have my number one is Nicole Scherzinger from the Pussycat Dolls. Love her to death. She is my main account at the moment. And then I also work on Megan Trainor.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I've been working on her for almost a year now. Yeah, it's been going well. So Megan Trainor, and then Zara Larson, I'm also working on at the moment. Yeah,
Wow.
I know those have been more recent in the past like couple of months, and then Dreamers, which is a Hollywood Records band on Disney. They're like alternative rock band. Yeah.
So for those of you so people who don't know what an account manager is for
Yeah.
an artist, a celebrity, what does your job entail?
So it manages day-to-day posting for all of our clients. That's like the number one thing, kind of like looking at daily engagements, seeing what we can do on like a kind of like a lower level of engagement for our artists. And then it's also like kind of planning ahead for either album releases, single drops, TV shows, and kind of like figuring out the posting plans for those, and also like strategy and like how do you get likes, engagement, following, to kind of push what you're already doing, but also to kind of like pop on holidays or stuff throughout the week as well.
Are you in constant contact with your clients? Do you talk to their assistants, managers? How does that work for
Yeah.
you?
So now, specifically, I don't know if this is like all social media agencies, but for me, I have direct contact with all of them. So I talk to them all on a daily basis, more or less. Obviously, things go through managers first,
Of
and
course.
then we kind of like, well, this is what I'm sitting today, like in this order, et cetera, et cetera. And then it goes to the artist to kind of like either, refine or whatever. If it's not in their voice, whatever, kind of like that.
Oh, and editing the photo, making sure this looks good, the lighting, all of it.
Yeah. So my Nicole is probably the main account who I kind of do like a little bit of everything for. I edit the photos, I take the photos, I post them, copy, etc. Um, and I kind of have more of like a hands-on experience of all of her accounts. Um, and then like with like Megan, it's a little bit less. But it just depends on artists. It's really depending on what they want, what they need, and like kind of how they work with themselves as well
And I
and
saw
with
that
their
one of
clients.
your photos that you took of Nicole was in People.
Yes. So I've been with Nicole for, okay. I have been with Nicole for about 2 years. 2 years. And we've done 3 seasons of The Masked Singers together. And now with like COVID happening, everything with like production kind of got a little bit more like restrictive. So I was like, well, let's just shoot stuff in your room. Let's just like shoot all of like TikToks for the show and all the photos like in your room. And her stylist, Jess, was like, I'm going to need you to take photos so we can sell it to people, kind of the thing. And I was like, I thought about it. I was like, oh, this is like cool. This is like a whatever thing. So we did the show. I think it was like in 3 or 4 weeks. And so we did all of her outfits and all of her looks, got all the photos edited and stuff. And then one day my cousin was like, what is this? And sends me the link. No clue it went live. It was like no idea. And like the first look of the show was like on People. And I was like,
And it said photo by Cole.
it says photo by Cole Gentry at the bottom. Like, and this is People exclusive photos. Like, it just mind blowing.
That's incredible. That's a huge accomplishment. Like,
I,
photographers work their life to get something like this. And you're like, yeah, let's just take photos in your bedroom.
it just really blows my mind, that could even happen. And and it's reoccurring. So it happens every time there's a new look, it gets added to it. And I'm just like, my mind is like completely blown that I'm going to have like almost close to a dozen photos on People.
That's amazing.
It's just
Congratulations.
like, thank you so much. It was the weirdest thing. It was really strange.
Is that a pinch me moment for you? Like, have you had a couple pinch me moments in your career so far?
That was definitely one of them, because I was like, you get so caught up with working, especially right now. If you're at home, it's just like the only thing that you can do is work. It's from my experience. Um, and I was like, I just remember sitting there and I had like got sent the link. I saw the photos. It took me a good 24 hours to even post about it because I hadn't even like fully, I was like, what happened?
Hmm.
What just happened? And I like sat and I remember just crying for like 10 minutes because I was like, this is actually a big deal. Like, this is like huge. Like, this is how people get verified on Instagram if you're like a no one. Like, that's how you
So
get
true.
verified. So it's just like, I was like, holy shit. Like, that's a real thing. Like, it happens.
I think it also in this industry, you need to like be able to like sit back and be like, okay, I did this. Because I feel like you're always looking at, oh, they already accomplished this, and you need to be like, hell yeah, like I'm in People Mag, like I accomplished that. And you got to sometimes need to take a step back and be like, I did this. And appreciate the work you've already done and give yourself a pat in the back.
I 1,000%. I think anyone that's doing anything creative, like especially that's account managing for other people, um, like it's all the behind the scenes stuff is like crazy, and then it goes into like one post and then it moves on. So it's like I'm already a week ahead, and to sit and this is already done. Like this was already done. Like I figured out and posted, and so it's just like to go back to that moment. It's just like I did all of that work, got it right here, and everyone's seeing it. Like it's just it's a wild experience.
But like
That
you said, you took those photos, what, a month ago, 2 months ago. So now they're not even they're gone. You don't even think about them anymore.
Yeah, because they're edited, they're approved, and they're sent, and that's all they do. They get put back into like a Dropbox folder. Like
And they're there and you don't look at them ever again.
no, unless I have to post about them for the show. And so it's like, that's it. And it's like, oh shit, I did that. It's like, oh, okay, I did that. I mean, that was I think that's probably the number one thing. That's the biggest thing. I'm trying to think if there's any more pinch me moments. I mean, honestly, that's probably the biggest one. But
which is a pretty big one.
I mean, it's a pretty big one. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you're also working for the company that runs the Jonas Brothers account,
I mean,
and you have been a fan of them forever.
Exactly. I got to be the person behind the camera when they did the thing for the fans the second time for the What a Man Gotta Do preview for fans. I was behind the camera, so I got to see them again in person.
Yeah, it just went full circle.
It was a full circle moment. I was like, oh, I was here like a year ago doing the exact same thing. And I was like, it's all kind of wild. And I think one of the main things is like fans that follow me, and then I get just re-tagged also and on Instagram from like jewelry people, clothing people, like whatever. And it's like, that's also wild to see other people seeing my stuff.
And wanting having to post your stuff on their accounts and
having such great things to say about it too. Like I think that's also because like I don't know anything about photography. I'm not a photographer, but I don't know. I just kind of do it, and like people are like, oh, like you actually are really decent at it, and I'm like, oh, great, like that's cool. Like I don't think I'll ever go into photography, but it's just such it's like an unknown area and it's like getting success, I guess, which is wild, which is so wild.
If any photographers are listening to this, they're going to be very upset, Cole. They're just like, oh, I picked up the camera, now I'm in People magazine. And they're like, I know. I've been trying to do that for 17 years.
I had one of our friends is like a photographer, and he was like, well, you're going to put me on a business. He's like, I can't. He's like, what, how are you getting, like, this is so quick. And I was like, I know. And it's just it's just weird because everything lives in this digital like space, is that like anyone can do anything they want if they just have like the right path, like the right connections, pathways.
It is all also about who you know, the opportunities that are put in front of you.
Definitely.
And it's amazing that your company and that Nicole are allowing you to like test out the photography too, because I also feel like that's not normal.
No, and I think that, and I don't think it's normal, but I think that we're such a small group of people that we want to continue to expand ourselves rather than getting locked as like, I am the account manager. I sit at the computer, I look at all the trends, I figure out what's happening on the schedule day-to-day basis. But in reality, it's like, I am that, but I'm also shooting your photos, editing your photos, posting your photos, and also and then also live tweeting for you or doing this for you. And it's like, I do so much more than just like post for people, which is what like people think that account managers just do, is that, oh, we just post for you. It's like, no, we do so much more than
You're there
that.
from start to finish.
Yeah, exactly. And it's it's just it's always a process, but it's like, I don't know. It's so much work, but it's like kind of worth it.
100%.
And it's wild because like the fans are always so excited to see whoever posts. And it's like I kind of get to be a part of that in like a weird way, like the strangest way. I'm like I am Nicole, but not in a sense.
Yes, you're the mask. You're the person with the mask on.
I know I'm the masked Nicole. That is.
Exactly. Is the one person that you would love to work with is Demi Lovato? That's your queen?
I and okay. So here's my thing. I want I want to be Nicole, not Nicole. I want to be Demi's personal social person, but I also want to be Ariana Grande's social person.
Her social is so good.
It's fucking incredible. And it's just, I don't like, okay, so Demi is my queen. She has been my queen for a very long time, but people change. Um, so I love her to death, and this album needs to be finished. That's my number one thing. Get it done. You're in quarantine, get it finished. If anyone can do it, it should be her. Get it done.
110%. She has so much to say.
I know. Let's go. But like Ari is like a close second. And I think Lizzo is also a close second because her social media channels are freaking bomb.
Oh, I have to check that out. I haven't paid attention to her. I don't even think I follow her.
Oh my gosh.
I'll look.
Like I think that's also one of the best things about this like job is to like just see others.
What other people are doing.
Yeah.
I
And
low-key think Ariana is involved with her posting very heavily.
I do
some of the
too.
posts that
I
she
do
does,
too.
I'm like, I think that's Ariana. I don't think that's someone doing it for her. Just I
Yeah.
know she's very involved with her own brand and everything. And so there's posts. I'm like, I think she's sitting there scheduling it herself.
I'm sure she is because I I definitely think that she has a say. Like that whole like Scooter Braun like branch out, most of them do their own. I think regardless of like probably out now posts or I think those voting
Yeah,
posts she
like
may
single
not do.
releases and
Yeah, but
albums.
like most of the time I think it's mostly them, which is like the beauty. That is what it should be. It should feel like them. Um, there's always issues with that, but I think that that's like one of the most successful things about people's accounts is that it feels like that person.
100, finding the voice, knowing the
Yeah.
voice, and just,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, you don't want anyone to think that it's not them posting.
Right. Yeah. And it's always hard to do that. And it's one of the funniest thing sometimes with fans is that they say like, hi, whatever the label is, or hi, whatever the like management team is, because they're trying to get a rise out of like,
Yes.
they're like, we know it's not you.
There's times like for some clients that I have that like some artists over the years and they'd be like, "Hi Julie." I'm like, "No, like don't comment that."
I
Like,
know
like
it's like
tag me.
like you're ruining the vision.
Yeah, like for the people that don't know it's me, like come on, like hi, but shh.
Yeah, I know. It's always such a wild thing. But yeah,
Crazy story. I mean, you've done all that in 3 years. It's amazing.
it feels like it's been 10, but it's been only 3 years. And I think I'm coming up on 2 years for Teammate, which is also weird.
What I love about Teammate is that it's a small young company that is
Yeah.
running these major artists, social media and creative. And it's incredible to see what they've come up with and what they do. And I love that these artists are giving the voice to the people that are fans. Like
Yeah.
you listen to Megan Trainor or you listen to Zari Larson. And so it's like giving the voice to what you want to hear, what you would want to hear if you were on the other side, which I
Yeah.
think people need to pick up on more in that
Yeah.
the person that's running the accounts or working for a company needs to be able to relate with the audience.
Absolutely. And I think Miley Cyrus did the best when she started to hire fans. Like it's one of those things is that fans obviously know what they're doing. They know how to do it. Let them do it. And it's like obviously, pick the safest one possible. Like don't go with like a wild person, but like which is weird on my Apple Music, but I've apparently listened to a lot of Megan Trainor in my life. So she pops up always on my playlist. It's always that first album because that first album is amazing.
Bops.
It's so many bops. But like the thing is that like you have to. They should just everyone should hire a fan, just at least one, just
Hmm.
to see how it goes about like posting if like trending ideas. Like I'm sure that many fans have like I just think hire fans. It's like
I
so much
agree.
easier.
Or just
Someone's
even if you're like nervous about hiring a fan, have a fan in the meeting and
oh
like give
yeah,
ideas and allow
yeah,
them to just, if you're too scared to give them the account handles or anything, just allow
oh
them
yeah,
to create the content, schedule it, and then you approve and make sure because they are going to know more. They're on top of it.
yeah.
Their creativeness is just unreal. Like some like artwork they make, all of it. So I agree. 100% fans working for their artists now is the way to go.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Katy Perry literally made alternative copies to her album because the other fan art was so good.
Way better.
Like and it was better, but like that's how it should be. I think we should. I mean, it's like we should obviously cater to the fans in as many ways as we can. And I think that it's just having them on the team is just like I think one of the best things. And I think that's one of the smartest things that Cynthia has done for Teammate is that she's hired all fans of other people. And so it's like there's 3 Jonas Brothers fans obviously on the team. So it's like that's just like an obvious choice. But within that, Jess, which is our content person, has been able to create the cover art for 2 of the singles. So it's like,
Incredible. Her
and they
work is
loved it.
incredible.
Jess, oh my God, I love Jess. Jess is one of my favorite people, and she is so good at what she does. It's just like mind blowing how good she is at like
I wish I knew how to create the artwork like that or graphic design and all of that.
she's been helping me a lot.
Oh, that's
She's
great.
yeah, like I will ask her some of the stupidest questions about Photoshop and Premiere, but she's been helping me, and I've been able to like create some things. I'm not like amazing at it,
Of
but
course.
when I need it, and so she's very helpful and she's amazing. So
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
yeah,
Who are you excited to see in concert when we're allowed to do so? Who is your number one that you're like, I need to see them right now?
well we just watched the Saturday Night Live last night, and
Adele?
her. Well, no, her. I want her
Oh, yeah.
all the way. I mean, yes, Adele because it's Adele, but also her. I have never seen her live, and I would, I would give my left arm to see her live right after this pandemic. She's my like all-time number one, and I listen to her when I like had a bad day. I'll go and start cooking and turn her on,
Mood
and it's
change.
just like it's a vibe. Like she is just like she puts me in like this like wavy it's just always so refreshing.
And then is there a concert that you didn't go see because you're like, oh, I'll just see them next time around? And now you're like kicking yourself in the butt because you're like, when is the next time I'm able to go to a concert and see this person? So is there a concert you skipped because you're just like, oh, I'll see them next time?
Ariana for the thank you next. I'm
That was a
so
fun
pissed
show.
off because that album is so freaking amazing, and
She did
she
2
had
legs
like
too. How
I
did you
know
miss it?
they were so expensive, and then like when I went to go buy them, they were all sold out, and I was like, I'll just see her the next time, and fucking of course it just like got ruined.
She'll be on tour as soon as she'll be gone. You'll be able to see her.
That album next week. Ooh, I know
I'm
what I'm gonna
super
be
excited
doing.
for that.
Yeah, but I mean that was one of them, and then the other one was that Green Day uh one in the Dodger Stadium.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. They didn't do a ton of shows. It was
No, they only
right.
did like it was like one, I think, or like 2,
Yeah.
just at Dodger Stadium. But that was one just because of nostalgic, you know, rock on punk.
Rock on your e-boy phase.
Oh God, let's not go back to that. Let's not go back to that. But yeah, for
Well,
sure.
I really appreciate you telling everybody your story, and I'm so proud of you. And I love watching it on social. I do text you. I'm like, oh my God, this photo or comment. So I'm
I
so proud of you, and you've done so much. And I'm excited to see what you come up with next. Now that I know you run Megan Trainor and Zara, I'll have to go follow them right now.
You have to go follow them, like all their stuff. I'm always in the comments
I'm gonna be
because
like,
I
hi,
like to,
Cole.
I know I like to boost posts. That's what I like to do. But yeah, I thank you so much for having me. Um, I think that if you are a fangirl, a fanboy, a fan person, a fandom, please God, just like just keep going towards your artist and like push any way you can. There's so much to come out of like loving an artist. You can a lot of community, a lot of passion that comes into it, and I think that your dreams come true. Just
A
follow them.
100%. I agree. I think sky's the limit, and the passion that a fangirl has is unmatched.
Oh,
So
true that. We know so much.
we know everything.
We know so much.
But again, thank you, Cole, for coming on. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please subscribe and like. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube.
You
Follow us
better.
on Instagram, fangirl__ fantasy, and Twitter and Facebook, fangirl fantasy 1. Thank
You
you
better
all
do
for
that.
listening, and we will see you again next week.
Yes.